I know a few good stories. They take place in a corner of America that might seem familiar, yet still manages to surprise. The settings are spectacular, the characters compelling, the action exciting, the plot lines unpredictable. I'm Tom Richardson. Join me as I explore New England's great outdoors, from Candlewood Lake, Connecticut to Caribou, Maine, from the beaches of Cape Cod to the peaks of New Hampshire's White Mountains. The stories are waiting. Let's live them on Explore New England. Explore New England is presented by your New England Ford dealers, your local REI co-op. REI believes a life outside is fundamental to a life well lived. Campers Inn RV and visitnewengland.com. My first question upon arriving at Turning Page Farm Brewery in the town of Monson was this: how did these people manage to find a full-on German Oompa band in the middle of Maine? The annual Oktoberfest celebration at this small farm and craft brewery just south of Moosehead Lake is not to be missed if you happen to be visiting the Moosehead region in fall. But of course, you're welcome to drop by anytime to pick up some of Tim and Joy Bouchen's locally made artisan cheeses, soaps, and ales. And to say hello to the goats, of course.
Turning Page Farm, first of all, was named by my wife and I wanting to turn a page on a new chapter of our lives. So we both quit our corporate jobs that we worked for years and years and years, more than we care to share. And we wanted a different lifestyle. We wanted something a little quieter, a little where the decisions we made were right in front of us and we could see the ramifications, good and bad. And farming just hit that. We love good food, we love good drink, and we thought, let's do something like this. So we originally started with a goat farm. That was our first focus, was a creamery, a dairy, making goat cheese, and a little bit of soap as well. And then the brewery came out of just wanting to add another enterprise to the farm. With the new tasting room out here, we're gonna be open all year long. So every Saturday and Sunday, no matter how much snow is thrown at us, we're gonna stay open. We love the outdoors. We love nature, we love the seasons. So we love having snow, we surprisingly, we do love the cold. And to top that all off, the people up here are just amazing. We've absolutely loved all of the people that we've worked with in the community. The local business association in this tiny little town is surprisingly strong and active.
So what kind of goats are these?
So these are Guernsey goats. It's a fairly rare breed for the States. We didn't discover them. We found out about them when we were living in Europe, where they're a lot more common. Mm-hmm. And then we moved here and wanted Guernseys, and we realized, oh, nobody has Guernseys. There's a lot of interest in this breed, and it's building every day. They're a mid-sized breed. As you can see, they're really friendly.
Yeah.
There's no aggression in this herd at all. They're more curious, and they have really good milk production for their size.
There are a lot of things about the Moosehead region of north central Maine that will surprise you, and a lot to celebrate as well, especially if you love the outdoors and a low-key, back-to-nature lifestyle. This part of Maine is a varied landscape of mountains, lakes, ponds, and rivers to explore, and teeming with wildlife. And a good home base for local adventures is Wilson Pond Cabins, a few miles east of Moosehead Lake.
Well, we lived in Bangor, we've always loved Greenville, and we really wanted to come up here and visit, see if we could find a cabin to buy, and rent it some part of the year and stay here part of the year. So we come up here and we looked at probably a dozen, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And found nothing that we really liked or what we thought guests would like. So we were actually, I think, having lunch, and Wilson Pond Cabins come up for sale. So we came over and looked at it, talked about it, bought it. We had built her dream house and my dream house in 2015 that we were gonna live the rest of our life in, and my wife said, put it up for sale. And here we are in Greenville.
Yeah.
What I've heard from most of the people when they get here, first, it's the best kept secret in Moosehead Lake. They like the quietness. They like that they're 3.1 miles from downtown.
That's a big one, yeah.
But when they get here, there's no noise. The cabins are far enough apart that they really don't see or talk to anybody else.
Yep.
So, and they have their own docks, and it's just, they can do what they want to do. It's great to see the guests come with their little kids and they're not on their phones or anything else. They have a fishing line, they're out in the water or swimming or playing in the water.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of them I say, hey, what'd you have? Any luck? No, but I'm having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're fortunate we also have excellent hiking. Of course, we're right close to the Appalachian Trail. So we have everything from expert to beginner. The B-52 site is very near, and people love to go up and see that piece of history. You know, like Gulf Haggis, Grand Canyon of Maine. So some beautiful waterfalls, and just kind of all kinds of hidden gems that you just got to get out and explore and you know, find your little piece of heaven.
I love it so much because of the people. I mean, the people here, everybody says hi to you. Everybody asks how's everything going. They'll stop up once in a while just to see. I mean, we've been at the end of the road. People actually stop, talk to you for a while. You don't see that in a lot of the big cities.
That was gone where we were.
Yeah, it was. And it's just that whole thing of this is the way Maine should be.
Yep.
And we're here. And we'll always be here.
Yeah, I don't anticipate. I've had a few people, it's like, don't you miss this? I'm like, no, I don't. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves we need to run to the grocery store because we just never leave. You know, we're here and we're content, and it's a beautiful spot to be.
We're open year-round now. We have 2 cabins presently that we'll have 2 more ready by winter, which are all heated, got all the amenities you need. You can ATV right in here. You can snowmobile in here.
Ice fish.
Ice fish. The ice fishing on the pond is great in the
And the
wintertime.
mountain.
Yeah, and we had 4 or 5 people snow sled right in here and say, unbelievable, that they could stay here, they can leave their trailer here. Their snow sleds are in front of their cabins, so they can go in the morning and do whatever they want to do. So it's been very good.
While the fishing at Wilson Pond can be terrific, there are lots of places in the Moosehead Lake region to catch wild trout and salmon. One of the best spots to find both species is the legendary Kennebec River, which has its headwaters at the southern end of Moosehead Lake. At the lake's east outlet, I met up with Scott Snell, owner of Wilson's on Moosehead Lake, a venerable sporting camp at the headwaters of the Kennebec River.
So old man Wilson, back in 1865, freshly out of the Civil War, moved back home to Massachusetts. And when he got there, he found it to be a little too crowded. He was looking around for a job. There was an opening here at the sawmill. There's all these loggers around. I need an inn. I need a place to house these guys that are running wood down the river. And almost immediately, the sportsmen started showing up.
Despite the lousy weather, Scott managed to put me on some action with the river's brook trout, which were gathering to spawn in the section of river below the dam. Brookies are stunningly beautiful fish, with spawning colors seemingly synced to match the brilliant fall foliage along the river. Catching them never gets old. Another important cold water game species in the Kennebec is landlocked salmon, which grow to over 26 inches. Indeed, the upper Kennebec is one of the best places in the world to catch landlocks, although the fish we caught were on the small side. A variety of flies work well on both trout and salmon, although nymphs and streamers generally find favor in the fall. The trick is to keep trying different patterns until you find the one the fish prefer on a given day.
We have 15 cabins. They're all housekeeping cabins. They have full kitchens and, you know, hot and cold running water and furnaces for heat. We're a year-round camp. Really the only slow times we have are December and April. Mom and Dad moved me here from Scarborough, Maine. I hadn't really been around a lot of the fly fishing aspect. I knew the trolling, and I knew the brook fishing, and I knew all the normal stuff when it came to fishing, but the fly fishing was kind of new, and this was like the place to be for that. I had an old guide that took me under his wing as I was learning to fly fish, and his name was John McLeod, and it was amazing. I mean, it was a fairy tale childhood. When he would take me down the river, he'd say, "Scotty, meet me over at the dam, about 7. Be at the dam. I want you wearing wool socks, bean boots, jeans, wool shirt, nothing on underneath. 1 fly box in your pocket. We're going fishing." And we'd go down. He'd take me someplace I'd never been before on the river. And for instance, he'd say, "You see that rock out there in the river, Scott? You see it?" I said, yeah, I see it. He says, "Put your fly rod in your teeth and swim out to that rock. And when you get there, you're gonna catch a big trout." And he was right. He was right. He was amazing. He taught me how to canoe the river. He taught me how to pull it back up. And he's the one that got me started with the drift boat thing. He was building a drift boat. I was a raft guide at the time. And he said, Scotty, I'm building a drift boat this winter. You should build one too." And I said, "John, I can't build a boat." And I got to thinking, we had a guest here that was a boat builder down in Rockport. And he built me a boat. And so 1991, started drifting the river.
Any fall visitor to the town of Greenville, on the southern end of Moosehead Lake, soon sees that ATVs are immensely popular. Indeed, there often seems to be more all-terrain vehicles on the road than cars and trucks. One of the area's largest ATV dealers and service centers is Moosehead Motorsports in Greenville Junction. I met up with co-owner Jenny Gray to learn more about the local ATV scene on a ride to the nearby town of Shirley, following the bed of a former railroad.
Wow, Jenny, this is a cool spot, huh?
This is a really neat spot. Usually you can catch a couple moose hanging out in here.
You're a member of a local ATV club.
Yep.
What's the name of that club?
Moosehead ATV Riders.
And you maintain stretches of the trails, like that's up to you, like
Yes.
your group.
Yeah,
right?
we're a group. We get together once a month, and then we have work. We call them, work days and picnics that we get together and work on the trails and do different things. But
Right, and so it's always in need of maintenance. So a lot of people who just come out here and ride, they might take it for granted that, that these trails are just automatically nice and, groomed and everything, but your guys behind the scenes are doing a lot of work.
Yes, a lot of work. So it's very important if you do use any of the trails anywhere in the state that you should belong to an ATV club. All that money goes towards the trails, so
Right.
it's very important.
And these trails, how elaborate is the system in this Greenville area?
It's a great system.
So you can, from here though, you can go, all over the
We
place.
could go down to through Monson, Addis, Guilford. We have a lot of people that's what they'll do. They'll pack their bag, they'll spend one night in Jackman, they'll come to Greenville, they'll go, so it's kind of a neat.
Kind of a fun way to get outdoors
Yep.
and, just zip around out in the woods, right?
Yep, see nature,
Yeah.
you see animals, and it's fun, so.
That's
And
great.
it's family, so.
That's right, you can take the whole family doing
Yep.
it, right?
ATV riders as well as snowmobilers in the Moosehead region have thousands of miles of interconnecting trails to explore, many leading to spectacular vistas and interesting sights. One of the more popular, if somber, destinations is the B-52 crashed memorial site on the flank of Elephant Mountain east of Moosehead Lake. It was here in the winter of 1963 that a B-52 Stratofortress bomber on a routine mission experienced mechanical failure and crashed, killing 7 people aboard. Miraculously, 2 of the crew members survived. Today, pieces of the plane wreckage litter the site, which can be accessed by ATV, car, truck, and snowmobile when the road and trails are open. At 41 miles long and covering over 118 square miles, Moosehead is Maine's largest lake. However, it doesn't see a lot of boat traffic, especially in the fall. Few people know more about boating on Moosehead than Mark Gilbert Jr., whose family owns Moosehead Marina in the town of Rockwood. Mark was kind enough to give me a short tour of the local waters on a beautiful autumn afternoon.
It's a huge lake, and you don't really see like a ton of boat traffic on it, which is interesting.
Well, Moosehead's the largest lake located within one state east of the Mississippi River. It's just over 75,000 acres of water. You can go out on Moosehead with a boat that can top 70, 75 miles an hour and draw a straight line from the north end to the south end and not have to swerve for a boat on the busiest weekend of the year. That's the major attraction. Most of your traffic, I'd probably say 75% of it, is from Kineo south. So even on your 4th of July weekend, your Labor Day weekend, your first weekend in August, when everybody wants to be at Moosehead, the second you break past Kineo, your boat traffic decreases significantly.
So you can just go and anchor up in a private little cove or island or something like that? And
There are a lot of places that you can go on the lake where as long as you're careful, you'll never see another boat all day.
Oh man, that's amazing. It's remarkable.
God's country.
That's right. That's why you live here.
Yeah. Pretty special spot.
It is.
And, you know, other than the little pontoon boat behind us, it's all to ourselves.
That's right.
I mean,
it's quiet, you know. I mean,
you get a 7-mile run to that other shoreline, and there's not another boat in front of us. We'll take it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You like peace and quiet, man. This is your place.
If you like peace and quiet, tranquility, pristine wilderness, this is where you want to be.
We ended our boat tour on the east side of Mount Kineo, below the sheer cliff that plummets some 700 feet to the lake's surface. The mountain is the largest chunk of rhyolite in North America and was considered sacred by the native Wabanaki people, who used the easily flaked stone to fashion weapons and tools, as well as for trading with distant tribes. Today, Kineo is a popular hiking destination. However, unless you know how to navigate the maze of rugged logging roads east of the Kineo Peninsula, the only way to get there is by water. If you have your own boat, you can tie up at the dock on the western shore in front of the Kineo Golf Course. The other option is to take the ferry from Rockwood. Once ashore, follow the carriage trail along the peninsula's western shoreline to the start of the Indian Trail. This approximately mile-long route is steep and rocky in places, but offers several magnificent overlooks. A second, easier option is to continue along the carriage trail to the Bridle Trail. A third trail, the North Trail, begins at the northern tip of the peninsula and runs 1.9 miles along the northeast slope of the mountain. At the summit, you'll find a steel-framed tower that provides a panoramic view of the entire lake and surrounding countryside. Having a boat on Moosehead is not only a lot of fun, it also allows you to access its remote primitive campsites, which are free for the taking on a first-come, first-served basis. They feature picnic tables and fire rings, as well as a nearby outhouse. Many people reach the campsites by canoe and kayak, but cameramen Kevin Erdvig, Josh Faust, and I found a pontoon boat to be the most convenient form of transportation, especially since we could easily rent one from Captain Rogers Boat Rentals in Rockwood, one of the only places to rent a boat on Moosehead. After leaving the Moose River, taking care to avoid the rocks just outside the inlet, we set a course for Farm Island, home to 2 remote campsites. 10 minutes later, we arrived on the island's eastern shore. We secured the boat, set up camp, and toasted to another great fall adventure in a place that has lots of adventures to offer.
Look at this guy. There's Kevin doing his masterful work.
Why do I feel like you're my dad and we're making home videos or something?
Because we kind of are, a little bit. Okay, so you want to doctor me up here, buddy?
Yeah,
Load
sure.
me up with the goodness?
Yeah, I don't know. This is either cheddar or cheddar jalapeno.
I don't care. You know what?
So either way, you're in for a treat.
Either I'm in for a taste.
And bring that
treat.
right over here.
Okay, okay.
So here we got peppers and onions, just sauteed. A little
Oh,
salt,
it smells delicious.
So we're just gonna
Load that baby up, man.
load that guy up,
Oh,
and you are squared away.
oh, look at that, man. Check this out. Is that a piece of a work of art or what, man? Now we'll find out how it tastes.
I'm pretty sure Tom only hired me because, you know, before I was hired, Tom says, "Can you cook?"
That's camp fare, man, right there.
Get a shot of that, yeah.
Yeah. And this sign here indicates where Kevin's career is headed.
Get out of here. Plan B has always been cooking, man.
Yes, if you're looking to combine spectacular scenery with some great fishing, boating, camping, ATV riding, and hiking, you'd be hard-pressed to top Moosehead Lake in the fall. In fact, it's hard to believe that this New England gem, which has so much to offer in the way of outdoor adventure, isn't more heavily visited at this time of year. But then again, many folks would like to keep it that way. So just don't tell anyone, okay?